Hello.
Hey, Rachel, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
Can't complain, can't complain. But how's your week going so far?
Good, thank you.
Good, good. Okay, awesome. Well, first I just want to ask you, you know, quarantine was different for, everyone and each of us differently. How was it for you in the beginning and then kind of recently that everything started opening up? How's it been for you just the whole quarantine journey?
So last year was very funny. In the beginning, it was very sad because everything was closed, everything was shut down, production stopped, no work. They closed the beach, they closed the park. Thank God I have a lot of friends, so we still see each other. But after some points, I was like, I'm not staying in this country. I'm done with it. So I left the country. I went to France, my home country, and I stayed there for a few months. And soon as work started picking up, I came back and I've been working. I've been busy, thank God. So it's been good to restart the life, to go back to set, to do my job.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, how was it going back home? Just like
know.
and during that time.
France was open, so I moved back to France in July.
Okay.
Everything was open. Restaurants were open, clubs were open, life was normal. I was, people. So I was very, very happy to be home because America was not. No.
See, that's so interesting how like it was such different places were random like completely open and then America was shut down, especially LA was shut down, shut down.
Yeah.
Like there was nothing to do in LA. I remember I was like, "Oh my God, this is." It kind of felt so eerie because LA is so lively and like you said, there's always stuff going on between, movies, music, entertainment, restaurants, like you said, the beach, hanging out with friends, and yeah, it was weird. Um, but tell me about growing up in France and like how old were you when you knew you wanted to like make it I guess, come to America?
So I grew up in France. It's a beautiful country. The food is delicious. I love fashion. I love the history of the country. Free education, free healthcare. So France is a really good country. I grew up there. And I started being on stage when I was a kid as a dancer. I love
Okay.
dancing. So I was dancing classic hip hop. And I did theater when I was 12 and I love being on stage. And America was a country I heard about in school, and I wanted to go on vacation. I had a aunt who lived in San Francisco, so that was my first time in America. I went to San Francisco, and I loved it. I was like, oh, this is an interesting country. Okay. And then I went back. I grew up. I went back again. I went to Miami. I went to New York, and I went to Los Angeles for the first time. I was 17. And my first time in Los Angeles, I love the energy of the city. I was like,
Yeah.
this city is special. There's something about this town. I don't know what it is, but if one day I can move back to America, I will be in Los Angeles. And a few years later, I met people on the plane. They were
Hmm.
moving, French people moving to America. And I asked them, how did you do it? Did you get a job? Or they told me about the lottery. There's something called the Diversity Immigration Program.
Okay.
Every year, the US government gives 50,000 green cards to immigrants. So
Okay.
they did it and they won and they explained me how they did it. So I did exactly what they did. And 2 years later, here I am in America. Yeah, that's how I ended up here, the lottery.
That's awesome. Like how because I mean I moved to LA and I'm just coming from Chicago, so it's not that far, but like what were you feeling like moving from, because you're across the pond, it's like and it's not just across the pond, you're across the whole entire US on the one side. Like it's far, I mean it's a big distance from family and home and like you said, what you're used to. So how was that getting adjusted to and did you have a lot of nerves or were you just like, hey, I'm going for it. I'm not thinking about like anything else.
So I'm a very adventurous person, and my parents are immigrants. They left my little island in Comoros in Africa to move to France, and me, I left France to move to Germany. Then I moved to Luxembourg, and then I moved to America. So I've been moving different countries,
Okay.
and I love change. I'm someone I love change. I don't like to stay in the same place forever. So going to America on vacation make me love the country already. I spoke English. I love
Hmm.
entertainment, and for me, going from Europe to America was a big change because the culture is different, obviously. But I already knew the culture because of the TV shows, the movies that I've been
Hmm.
watching. So it was not that complicated to move here, and I'm very sociable, so I talk to everybody. I I met people really quick, and I adopted America, and I became a citizen in 2016. So I'm
Oh,
American.
that's awesome. Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's huge. And that's awesome. Like there needs to be more people like you because I always tell friends, I'm like, what are you afraid of? Like you have nothing to lose. If you don't
Yeah,
like it, you come
you
back
could not.
home. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like no one's gonna make you stay somewhere you don't want to stay. It's hey, just go for it. If it doesn't work, but most of the time it does work. So hey, like more people need to be like us, I feel. Need to just take that leap of faith and just not be scared because too many people are. Or too many people are like just comfortable. They
mm-hmm.
don't want change. Like you said, they don't like change. It's because change is scary at times, but
Yes.
you don't know what will happen if you don't change. Like that's just life, I feel. Um, but also tell me about so like you come to America, what was your first audition like? Because I know audition process in LA, like so many friends and colleagues have told me like, oh my God, it's so strenuous with the lines and you have to wait for the callbacks and it's just a lot. So how was it for you? Like, can you remember your first audition?
I remember going to the first audition. There was a big line. A lot of people were like, what is this? Why are there so many people for this? So I was like, oh, this is a game. You have to do the line, wait everybody, your turn. And when I first arrived, I had a big accent, so my English was not that good. So some people, casting people, would tell me, I don't understand you. And I was like, oh, really? Like, I felt bad, I was like, oh, okay. But I went. I didn't care. I'm like, I'm here for this. I'm gonna try. And if somebody loves me, I'm gonna get the part. So I just went for it. And even if I'm an immigrant, I had a French accent. I was not a citizen when I arrived. I just had a green card.
Hmm.
I went for all the audition and I played the game like everybody else until I got jobs and it's been working. So.
Working. I love it. I love it. But tell me about you were in Almost Christmas, like such a huge movie of I think the past 10 years. It's just one of the movies that will be around, I think, when we're long gone and like our grandkids and grandkids. It's just one of the movies that I feel like everyone loves and can watch over and over and over again. What was that feeling like when you got that call back like, hey, you got the role?
Well, I remember my agent sending me the audition. And just when I read the description of the character, I was like, oh my God, this is my role. I need to book this movie. Just reading the description, I was already interested. And then I did my audition and then I got the call back. And when I got the call back, I realized, okay, I have a shot at this. I have to do my best to get it. So I went to multiple callback because we had chemistry read, producer
Hmm.
session, like multiple callback. And it was challenging and exciting, but when you want something and you do everything you can to get it, I think you can get it. So I was very, very happy to book this movie. Amazing cast, amazing director, beautiful set. We shot in Atlanta. It was a great experience for me working with Danny Glover, someone I was
Yeah.
watching as a kid. I was watching as a kid. I never knew in my life that one day I'll be working with him.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful feeling when you get to work with the people you admire as a kid and it was a big production. So
Yeah.
very, very happy. It's a love story. It's a family movie. It's a comedy. It was a beautiful, beautiful shot, and I see it's everywhere. Every Christmas, people can watch it. You can watch it anytime with your family. It's beautiful.
Hmm.
So I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And like it's such an amazing movie too. Like how, were you when because when roles, I guess when you get a role, you necessarily don't know who's going to be in it. And like you were saying, like Danny Glover, one of them, and that cast was like an all-star cast. It wasn't just one big art, like one big actor or actress. It was a lot. To like when you found out the extent of the cast, were you like intimidated at all? Because it's just like
A
it's a lot
little
to
bit.
take
I was
in.
excited and a little bit intimidated because all these people and you get to work with them. So I was very, very excited and they were very welcoming. So it was a good shoot.
Yeah, definitely. And what do you enjoy more, would you say? Do you like more TV shows or do you like shooting movies? What do you prefer, would you say?
I prefer movies because movies, there's a beginning, there's an end, there's a story. Every story is different. Every writer write different stories. And for me, I immerse myself more when it's a movie because I have time to prepare for my character. When it's a TV
Hmm.
show, it's already an existing type of story, a style, and you just have to fit in. So you just have to tell the story and that's it. But a movie, you get more time to prepare for your character and then we let it go. It's done. It's finished. So I prefer movies, but I also love TV. It's fun, but I prefer movies. Yeah.
Okay, dope, dope. And how much like how much preparation do you usually give when you have a role? Like, are you just really hard on yourself? Like, study, study, study. Just preparing, preparing, preparing. How hard are you on yourself?
Depend what it is. If it's complicated, I spend a lot of time doing research. Like I
Okay.
did a movie, I had to play a coroner. It's called Interpreters. It's on Apple TV.
Yes, I've
I
seen that
know
one. Yeah.
nothing about a coroner job, so I had
Yeah.
to look it up. I had to look it up because I wanted to look legit. So I did some research. I watched documentaries. I read about it. I watched some TV show with some character playing that kind of role to help me. So if it's something that I know nothing about, I do a lot of research. I read a lot, I watch videos. If it's something I already know, I just bring my thing into it. But usually I have enough time to study and prepare, create the characters that I want and go for it.
Okay. And what is your like? I know you have been in so many genres so far of different films and TV shows. What is your favorite genre to really like when you get cast and you're like, yes, I'm so happy it's this kind of genre. What do you love?
I think I love drama. I
Okay.
love drama. It's intense. It's exciting. It's challenging. Comedy, I love. It's fun, but I really like drama. I like the turns that it takes, and it's more intense. So I think it's drama my favorite. I also love action. I love
Okay.
action movies. I love scary movies.
Yes.
That's the type of thing. And sci-fi. Sci-fi also. I'm a big fan of sci-fi as well.
Okay. And everyone has their dream roles. So who would you say is your dream role you have to play when you're retired in 100 years and what is one dream role you have to play that's on one of your lists? Also, who is someone you need to co-star with that you have to have on your bucket list checked off?
Wow, this is a lot of questions. A dream role for me would be to play an African queen. I would
Okay.
love to play Queen of Sheba or Cleopatra or one of the historic queen of Africa because I'm from Africa.
Hmm.
So it'd be an honor to play one of these characters in a biopic or a sci-fi movie or history movie. Co-stars, there's a lot of actors that I love. I can give you a long list of actors that I love. But I
I
would
guess
love
you're
to work
leading
with.
you're leading man, and
Yeah.
tell me like your leading co-star girlfriend, would you say? Like just like a friend of a girl, and then your leading man, would you say is you would want on your list?
Okay, leading man, I would love to work with Leonardo DiCaprio. I
Okay.
love him. He's a great actor. He's very good. And leading woman, I would love to work with Kate Blanchett. I think she's
Oh,
an amazing
yes.
actor. I love she has a wide range of roles that she played. I would love to be on a set with her. That's one of my favorite actors. Yeah.
Those are two good choices, like really good choices. I agree with you. They're both amazing. But tell me about your role right now. I know you play Lois on Physical, which is on Apple TV Plus that premiered June 18th.
Yes.
So how was that? And just tell me a little bit about your role.
So, Physical is a new show that is on Apple TV. I auditioned for it last year, back in December, and it's a TV show about aerobics, the 80s. It's in California, and Rose Byrne is starring in it.
Hmm.
And she is a housewife, and she's a little depressed. She has an eating disorder. Her husband is trying to run for office. And her life is very boring, so she get into aerobics and she become a teacher and she want to start a business of aerobics videos. So I play a fan of her. I'm a fan
Okay.
of her teaching, of her class. And I appear in episode 9. It's gonna air on July 30 on Apple TV. And my character is a fan of aerobics. I am in real life. I love aerobics.
Yeah.
So when I got the audition for this, I already knew this is something for me because I like aerobics. I am athletic. I run. I do yoga. So I was like, oh, this is a great role. And it's a period piece. I love period piece. So I
Uh-huh.
knew that they're going to do my hair. They're going to dress me in something funny if I book it. So I was very excited just when I got the audition. And it was a booking from tape. So I didn't have to do a callback. And then
Nice.
offer, and then straight to set, and I shot it, and that was fun. That was interesting to shoot during the pandemic
Yeah, I
because
wanted to tell you that. How was that for you? Like, 'cause I know it's all new for all of you.
so we had to do a lot of COVID tests. That's the new safety protocols that have been installed since November by
Hmm.
California. So a lot of COVID tests every time before you go to set. Like you have to do multiple COVID tests to make sure everybody's negative. And when you arrive on set, you have to wear the mask. And me, I like to talk to people. So we have to wear two masks. One, medical, the blue mask, and then a shield. So it was a little sad because
Okay.
you want to talk to people, but everybody was doing the social distancing, wearing the two masks. But I had very nice co-stars, Bella Saba and Nutella Pussy. And I also met the showrunner, Annie Weisman. She was there on the days that I was working on the show. So I was happy to be able to talk to some people, but it was very like everybody's far away. So it was a little different than usual, but it was fun show.
Exactly. Yeah, I could imagine. It's hopefully it'll change soon enough a little. I mean, I guess I understand everyone wants to be safe, but I could imagine how, like you said, you can't even hear sometimes people, or you can't read their facial expressions if they're laughing or serious. It's just like weird, but I get the whole safety, precaution. Um, but I know you said a little bit of your hobbies. So what else do you enjoy to do? Like, 'cause especially with quarantine, we had a lot of time to do stuff. Was there any new hobbies you picked up that you didn't do before?
Yes, surfing. I'm a
Okay.
surfer beginner, so I started surfing in Australia. I went to Sydney for New Year in 2020,
Okay.
and I took my first class there, and I loved it. I've been surfing in France. I'm from the west coast of France, from Bordeaux, and we have the ocean 1 hour drive from where I live. So I've been surfing in France. I've been surfing here in Malibu as well. So I've been loving it. I'm an ocean lover. I love swimming. I love diving. I love snorkeling. So surfing was my new hobbies that I discovered during the pandemic. I
Hmm.
also been writing. I got to write, create more stuff. I wrote a short and I
Okay.
produced it this year and we shot it in January. It's called It's Time. It's a comedy about death because everybody's afraid of dying. And I found it was funny. I wanted to tell a story about it. So I put a team together and we just shoot it and it's in post production. So I hope we can get into many festivals as soon as we're ready. And
That's
that's
awesome.
what I've been doing
Congrats.
from the week, yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you've done so many roles already. What has been your favorite so far that you just really, I guess, what has been one role that maybe you thought wasn't going to be that fun, but then you did it and you were like, "Oh my God, this was an amazing opportunity for me. I enjoyed it so much, better than I expected."
Well, I really love Almost Christmas. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
Almost Christmas, Big Grace was one of my favorites because I love periods. They dressed me in the 70s or 80s, I forgot.
Uh-huh.
That was a fun experience to work with all these people. The director was very nice. One of my favorite projects. I did another project in Bahamas. It was not a film, it was a commercial. I went to the Bahamas for 1 week to shoot a project for a client. That was amazing just because I love to travel. I love to go on
Yeah.
vacation. It was a vacation job.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You're in paradise.
A nice shoot, yeah. That I was in Paradise Island, so that was a nice experience as well.
Okay.
And I also did something a little challenging because sometimes as an actor you have to do certain things. You don't know if you can do it, but you go for it. So I did a shoot. I had to play an astronaut,
Oh
and I'm
yeah.
not claustrophobic. I'm not afraid of speed, but the costume was extremely heavy. So I had two people put the costume on me, and then they lock it. I cannot take it off myself, and I had to be in that costume and do the scene for how many hours?
Yeah.
So I was not afraid, but then I did it, and I was like, okay, I can do an astronaut. So I was really proud of me for doing that challenging performance.
Okay, great. Well, I want to take all your time. Coming, it's crazy. We're a little halfway through 2021 already.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like it's gonna be 2022 before you know it. So what do you have planned for the rest of the year, and what future projects do you have coming up?
Well, I would love to book more movies, more TV shows. I am in the process of writing two more short films, one about domestic violence and one about a historical figure. I would love to produce them and shoot them before the end of the year.
Okay.
I would love to be on Black Panther 2. That's one of the projects that I really want to be on because I love Black Panther 1. And I'm just working on different projects, voiceover. I book TV shows, movies, doing voiceover as well, and commercial. I do a lot of commercial, and yeah, that's what's gonna come for the rest of the year. Going on vacation because I love to go on vacation as well. So
Yes, and
um,
it's needed.
now that everything is reopened everywhere, so that's what's planned for the rest of the year.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you so much for your time and just taking the time to speak with me, and hopefully get to meet you in the future one day. I'm sure we'll cross paths somewhere in LA because I'm actually be coming out back out there, I think in August. Yeah, yeah, August is like 2 weeks away already. It's crazy. But yeah, thank you so much for your time, and
Thank you so much for having me.
yeah, stay safe, and yeah, we'll talk soon.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Rachel. Have a good one. Stay safe.
Bye bye.
Okay, bye.